Hello learners, now we will begin our session 2, right? So in session 2 I have done some restructuring. Okay, so because we are not trying to make small videos, so in the session 2 the governance, that is we do in the government schemes, so I have restructured. In the first part, in this particular video we will be discussing the initiatives of the program. It will be part 1. Okay, in the part 2 we'll be discussing these three things: institution, flagship schemes, and the schemes and the policies. If the state government initiative would have been there, we will accommodate that, but this month we don't have that. And in the part 3 we will discuss about funds and the apps and the portals, right? So this will be part 3 of our session 2. So just keep in mind the structuring of our discussion, right? So this will be part 3. Okay, so now let's quickly we'll start, because we have to minimize the time for learning. So quickly we'll start the initiatives and the programs. Okay, so the first one is project su.re, project sure, right? So Mr. Smriti Irani has announced it in the Lakme Fashion Week about this project sure. So it is related to Ministry of Textile. So project sure is an Indian apparel industry's largest commitment towards the sustainable fashion. Every year the word sustainable is adding, isn't it? Sure stands for sustainable resolution that contributes to the clean environment. Aim to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goal SDG goal, especially SDG 12, that is responsible for responsible consumption and production. If you remember, I have told you from SDG 1 to SDG 17 story how to remember that. Please do revise that, and because that is really important. Okay, so SDG 1 to SDG 17. So something about project sure. So minister says the sustainable resolution adopted today is reflective of the thought of the Mahatma of being change you wish to see in the world. 5-point resolution plan, very simple things: develop a complete understanding of the economic impact, sustainable policy, make right decision, communicate sustainability, and all these things, right? Address the critical global issues, not relevant from prelim perspective, relevant only from project sure textile. Next is important, this one: repurpose used cooking oil initiative. From the name itself, repurpose used cooking oil. So cooking oil need to be repurposed for making a biofuels. It will create a win-win situation. I'll tell you how. So it is first done by FSSAI. FSSAI. We have already done about FSSAI, right? To help the companies convert the cooking oil into biofuel, supported by the National Biofuel Policy of 2018. Under this, around 64 companies at this particular location identified to enable the collection of the cooking oil. So they will collect the cooking oil and they will convert it into the biofuels. Okay. So here you see repurpose used cooking oil. So ideally what they are saying basically, and it is true, that the cooking oil that in which we go for our the puris and the parathas, not parathas, cooking, the puris and the pakoris. So ideally the cooking oil should be used only once for frying. Oil heated and used repeated times may have harmful substance and the trans fat. So if you heat the same cooking oil again and again and use the same foil, it has a lot of the harmful substances. Okay, so continuously frying, use the frying oil within the 2 days. Fry at the lowest frying temperature. So they have given some of the guidelines also what you should do, and use that particular cooking oil. Now your cooking oil, you are not using it again, right? So use that for the biofuel purpose. So that is to create a win-win situation: win for you, for your health, and win for the industry to get the biofuel. So it will create a green fuel. So biodiesel to be made from the cooking oil. It is there. Heating and the reheating edible oil increases the value of the total polarized component. So total polarized component in the oil increases, and that creates a trans fats and some health problems to us. Okay. So they are saying that edible oil more than TPC of 25% is unsafe for human consumption. So if TPC increases more than 25%, it is harmful for human consumption. But however, if it is more than 25%, it can be used for the, if it is more than 25%, it is used for the biofuels. Very easy, right? Okay, this much you need to remember. Next is some of the schemes we will see from Minority Ministry. So first is Nai Manzil. So it is the basically for minority youth. Here, what is the problem you're going to encounter? Nai manzil, nai udan, nai roshni. What is the subtle difference? Okay, so remember, manzil means destination. So destination is needed for the youth. Okay, so it's a bridge. So basically, engage constructively with the poor minority youth, help them to obtain sustainable and gainful employment opportunities that can facilitate them to be integrated with the mainstream economic activities. So some bridge courses and certification for the class 10th and 12th via distance learning. So just to reiterate, an integrated education and livelihood initiative for the minority communities who do not have a formal school leaving the certificate, that is in the category of school dropouts, educated in community education institution like madrasa. So those who are educated in this, or those who cannot get this particular education, they can get this particular in order to provide them formal education and skill, enable them to seek better employment and livelihoods in the organized sector. Scheme has been approved with this and this much is important, okay, for us. Objective, just to reiterate, is integrated skill training of being provided to the youth in a market driven skill, raise awareness, health and life skill, mobilize school dropouts with the formal certification up to 8th or 10th level through National Institute of NIOS, National School of Open Schooling, other state open schooling system. Okay, so integrated education and livelihood initiative for the minority communities, Ministry of Minority Affairs, Nai Manzil. Next is Nai Roshni. So Nai Roshni scheme is by again Ministry of Minority Affairs, Nai Roshni Yojana. You can see women here. Roshni is the name of the women, right? Manzil is the name of no women. Remember, it's not like it can be name of the manzil is there, but you can say for now that very safely you can say that Roshni is women and manzil is for the youth, for all. So leadership development among the minority women to empower and instill confidence among the minority women by providing knowledge, techniques for interacting with the government, banks and other institutions at all level. Okay, so the talking about the leadership development program for the minority women, right? So this is Nai Roshni. This is not related to Nai Roshni, okay? Just skip it out. Okay. Yes, next is the Nai Roshni scheme for leadership development for the minority women, and this is the portal screenshot that I have taken. If you see so many lot of pictures, then retainability increases, and that is the whole purpose of this particular program, right? Next is Nai Udan scheme. So Ministry of Minority Affairs to provide the financial support to the minority students for preparation of the mains exam. For example, if you clear prelims examination and you are belong to minority community, okay, so you will get assistance to prepare for your mains exam. So prepare well for the prelims exam. Okay, Nai Udan scheme. So Ministry of Minority Affairs to provide a financial support to minority students for preparation of mains exam who cleared the prelims conducted by the UPSC, SSC and SPSC. Not only UPSC but also SSC and state PCS also. Aims to adequately equip them to compete and increase the representation of minorities in the civil services. That is the whole point of reservation also, right? So if you have the access to the decision making power, then only the true empowerment will come. Okay, so this is the Nai Udan scheme. Next is Manas. So it's an academy, Maulana Azad National Academy for Skill. Ministry, Minority Affairs Ministry is there. Aim, a skill development architecture for providing an all India level training framework. Okay, so it will be act as an institution, and skill development architecture it will provide. And it further, a training framework is based upon the tie-ups with the National International Training Agency on PPP mode for imparting training to the minority population for skills that are currently in demand. It will provide the concessional credit. So you got the skill, you got the training, you got the skill, you got the training. Now you will be also provided with the some of the credit to start your own venture. After skilling, need for expanding in existing business, setting up for new businesses. So Maulana Azad National Academy for Skill, Manas. Okay. Next is Jio Parsi, very interesting scheme. So the population of the Parsis in India is decreasing. Okay. So that is, this scheme comes into being to increase their population, to reverse the declining trend of the Parsi population and stabilize their population. So if your fertility rate goes down 2.1, less than 2.1, your population will start declining, right? Very logical. From the Japan in the Western European countries, the population is really declining. So, and the same problem is happening with some of the communities in India also. And that is why the government has come up with this particular scheme. So they will intervene through advocacy component, health of the community component, medical component to promote the cause of the reversing the declining trend of the Parsi population. Okay. So we have done this, right? Next is Padho Pradesh. So Padho Pradesh is from the Ministry of Minority Affairs, provide interest subsidy on educational loans for overseas study for the students belonging to the minority community. For those who belong to minority committee, so interest subsidy will be provided to them. Padho Pradesh, giving wings to the dream of the minority students, giving them opportunity to go overseas and study. It's a really good empowerment scheme. Next is Cyber Gram Yojana, the multi-sectoral development under this particular, we will discuss about that in the flagship schemes. So ministry under the minority ministries and MAT, obviously Cyber Gram, so the MAT will be involved, right? Aims to provide the hands-on training to the computers to the students of the minority community. In the world of computer now, everything you can see with Corona, I am also giving an online lecture, right? Because everything is locked down, I have to give lectures to you through online basis, right? I'm uploading the videos, the institute is editing the videos. So if we do not have the online resources, then the empowerment, true empowerment will not come. When everything is done through e-governance, e-digital component is Digital India, right? So the primary objective is to make sure that students of minority are communicatively digitally literate, to provide them hands-on training on computers, to enable them to acquire the basic information communication skills, to actively let the minority community participate in the knowledge-based activities, to let them access financial, social and government schemes, to enforce the learning of the trained beneficiary, providing internet access for 30 hours and all this. Okay. Next is Begum Hazrat Mahal National Scholarship Scheme from Meritorious Girls. So the name itself, for the meritorious girls. Begum Hazrat Mahal, you know who she is? She was a freedom fighter 1858 revolt, 1857 revolt from Lucknow, my hometown. So Ministry, Minority Affairs, scholarship for the meritorious girls belong to the minority, implemented through the Maulana Azad Education Foundation. Okay. So this is, you need to remember. Next is very interesting program, Atal Community Innovation Center program. So under the architecture of Atal Innovation, I'll take up a particular session for Atal Innovation Mission, one concept series or somewhere I'll take up this Atal Innovation Mission, because there are a lot of initiatives that are associated with Atal Innovation Mission. Okay, we'll see that in this session also, but I won't take it up. The programs makes up programs aims at spurring the community innovation in underserved and unserved areas. Okay, so AICCC. So you can say it acts as a bridge between the knowledge base. This is community, right? And this is the technical ecosystem which needs innovation, which needs idea. You can see it as an infrastructure. Infrastructure is here, ideas are here. So bridging the ideas and the infrastructure through AICC, right? So knowledge base existing in the community and the advanced technical information prevalent in the market base, addressing the need of the society. And this particular ideas, obviously these ideas will be addressing the needs of the community itself. And when these two will combine, then we can have some really good solutions to the problem of the society faces for now. For example, water, climate change, air pollution, right? These problems. It will focus health, education. It will focus on the underserved and unserved region of the country, which at present lack the vibrant startup and the innovation ecosystem. Okay. Next is, this is the Atal Innovation Mission, and this is AICC. So creativity is seeing the same thing when thinking differently. This is the brochure I have taken screenshots, different screenshots. You can see different initiatives for Atal Innovation Mission. We will try to cover it up in a separate video. Okay, separate video, either we will make of a compilation from the Niti Aayog, all the initiatives, or we will make a separate video on Atal Innovation Mission itself. So don't you worry, just keep trust on us, keep trust on Amrita and myself. Important components, objective is a bit subjective. Let's see the important features. So encourage PPP mode for establishment of ACIC, granting aid from AIM up to 60% of the project cost, focus on cross community learnings, establish local and national global linkage with the key stakeholders. This diagrams can be used for the mains but not for prelims. This basic information is relevant from the place perspective. Okay, next we'll talk about Nistha initiative. So Nistha is basically training for the teachers from, okay, training for the teachers. So HRD ministry launched Nistha to train more than 42 lakh teachers. Okay, teacher training is our priority. It bid to boost the education and employment. So program to train the teachers. So Nistha under the Samagra Shiksha campaign. We'll talk about Samagra Shiksha also in this particular session. So more than 42 lakh teachers and principals of primary and the elementary age government school across the country will undergo a 5-day training program. In the August month, it was announced to learn the innovative teaching methods and the use of art and technology in the classroom and the basic counseling techniques. So training the teachers. Training the teachers. If the teachers are not properly trained, then how can we expect them to be motivated and train the students for the new age that is digital age, the gig economy where it is dominating. Okay, next is Samagra Shiksha scheme. Samagra Shiksha scheme. So aim to treat the education, school education holistically without segmentation from preschool to class 9. Okay, holistic without the segmentation from preschool to class 9. Earlier we have different schemes. For example, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was different, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan was different. Now they want to establish school as a continuum, and that is why they make an umbrella scheme. I told you that government is making too many umbrella schemes that helps in the coordination among the schemes to ensure that the inclusive and the equitable quality education at all levels of the school education. Right, it envisages school as a continuum from preschool, primary, upper primary, secondary to senior secondary level. Subsumes 3 erstwhile schemes. We have done that. So this is the major component of the Samagra Shiksha campaign. Different campaigns. It is addressing the 2 SDGs, SDG 4.1, SDG 4, mostly SDG 4. I told you how to remember the SDG 4, 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Education. So different targets of SDG, it is particularly catering to that. Next is Samagra Shiksha we have done. Next is Samagra Shiksha Jal Suraksha. So you can get confused. Jal Suraksha, that means can be from the Ministry of Jal Shakti, but no, it is Ministry of MHRD only. It to give impetus to the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Department of School and Education and Literacy under Ministry of Human Resource Development, to create awareness about the school conservation among the all schools students in the country. Okay, so you can see MHRD. If one student saves 1 liter per day, so they make a calculation that if one student can, yes, you see, one student 1 day 1 liter. So one student in 10 years can save this much amount of water. Major objective about these things: educate, sensitize, empower, help and encourage. You can use these words in the ethics and the mains examination. It will really improve your writing skills if you use the government language. Next initiative, we're going to see Green Skill Development Program. So launched in the line with the skill development, from the name itself, green skill. So skills that are related to the sustainability, to the green criteria. For example, sustainability skilling with respect to course on the waste management. Right? So aim for skilling India's youth in the environmental and the forest sector. Nodal agency is the Botanical Survey of India and Geological Survey of India. So these will be the nodal agencies. You need to remember that. So these are the nodal agencies for the Green Skill Development Program. Okay, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So it endeavors to develop green skilled worker having technical knowledge and the commitment to sustained development. It helps in attainment of the nationally determined INDC goals. We have discussed, we'll discuss that in the ecology section. INDC goal, SDG, National Biodiversity Target, all these things. Like if you have green skills, then we can achieve all our environmental responsive targets, whatever be it. Train over 5.5 lakh worker in the environment and the forest sector by 2021. Gainful employment to candidates completing the courses in this particular century. So green skills. Okay, so background, opportunities and achievement and all these things. Next is Imprint 2. So basically Imprint 1 was launched by the government in 2015. So it was earlier a joint initiative of IIT and ISC. And the success of Imprint 1 has led government to go for the Imprint 2 in a more structured and a more institutionalized way. So full form is Impacting Research, Innovation and Technology, Ministry of Human Resource and Development. Okay. So aim is to address the engineering challenges in the 10 technological domain relevant in India through an inclusive and sustainable manner. So Imprint 2 will be jointly funded and steered by the MHRD and Department of Science and Technology. So collaboration of MHRD and the Department of Science and Technology. Okay, so these will collaborate for the Imprint 2. The ministry of this particular, so launch of 1,000 crore for research in science and technology for next 2 years. Okay, the proposal for Imprint 2 have been called and all these things. So just remember what are the changes in the Imprint 2. So Government of India, MHRD and DST at the apex level, then apex level committee, steering committee and all these things. Okay, so you got the difference between Imprint 1 and Imprint 2. Imprint 1 now basically the Imprint 1 was basically the idea behind the IIT and the ISC. Now Imprint 2 has government has more structured and institutionalized it. Next is Operation Number Plate. So Operation Number Plate, you have seen in the railway stations, many of the vehicles that are parked and nobody knows whose vehicle are they, right? So it is by the Railway Protection Force to identify and verify all the vehicles parked in the railway premises, circulating area, parking, even in the no parking area for the longer duration. So they will check, they will ask about the ownership and all these things. Next is No India program. So ministry is Ministry of External Affairs. Okay, for engagement with the Indian origin youth between 18-13 years to enhance their awareness about India, its cultural heritage, art, and to familiarize with various aspects of the contemporary India. No India program. Remember, external, obviously. You're outside, then you only know India, right? Then it will be External Affair Ministry. Right? So this is Overseas Indian Affairs, and the program name is, but with respect to diaspora engagement, No India program. Next is Jansankhya Sthirta Kosh, right? So Jansankhya Sthirta Kosh means, from the name itself, National Population Stabilization Fund. So those who do not know a lot of Hindi, Jansankhya means population, Sthirta means stabilization, Kosh means fund. So National Population Stabilization Fund, autonomous body, it's not a statutory body, it's an autonomous body under the Society Registration Act. JSK takes all the policy related decision with respect to population. Now population is really becoming a criteria because in the Rajya Sabha somebody moved a private member bill for population control law. Prime Minister in the August also did not talk about the law, but he talked about the controlling the population, having more awareness towards it. It can raise contribution from the organization and the individual that support the population stabilization. JSK implement 2 schemes. So 2 schemes under JSK, Stuti and Prerna. So the Prerna is basically Prerna strategy. Okay, the Prerna strategy is basically Prerna is a Hindi word that means inspiration. Okay, so idea is to push up the age of marriage of girls, delay in the first child and the spacing with the first child. It ideally said the birth of the first child and the second child, there should be at least the gap of 5 years. Okay, the birth of second child in the interest of both, because it is interest of both, because mother is also ready to handle the pressure of both and also her own body. So the Prerna strategy, just to reiterate, Prerna provides opportunity for the couples who have fulfilled the specific responsible parenthood criteria to become entitled to receive an award for breaking the stereotypes. Okay, so girl marriage of 18 years age, so various monetary incentives are given. You don't have to remember the monetary incentive, just remember the Prerna strategy is associated with what. Similarly, the Santushti strategy, it provides the private sector gynecologists and vasectomy surgeons to conduct a sterilization operation in the public private partnership mode. Santushti strategy. Okay, so basically it's inviting the officials and the doctors from the private sector to do the sterilization operation. So an opportunity for the private sector doctors and impaled surgeons to perform the sterilization operation in the private sector nursing home after receiving an advance of this particular money. So the sterilization is a very safe way of removing the pregnancy, right? Of not removing the pregnancy, I'm saying for population control measures, for population management measures, the sterilization is a really good measure. If we have the horrendous experience of emergency, and that is why the attitude of the present generation is shaped, not the present generation, but many of the people are shaped from the fear of that particular area, the coercion that was there in the emergency. Anyway, so we have finished our discussion of part 1 of the governance. As I told you, we have discussed, just one second, so we have discussed the we have discussed the part 1 discussion we already had. So in the part 1 we discussed about the initiatives and the programs. In the next discussion we'll talk about the institution flagship schemes and the some of the policies, right? So be safe, be at home, but keep studying. Thank you everyone.